Hello, beautiful soul. If you found your way here, it's not by accident. There's something in you quiet, ancient, and knowing that brought you to this moment. And I want to speak directly to that part of you, the part that has always sensed there's more to your story than what meets the eye. The part that never quite fit in, not because it was broken, but because it was built for something deeper. Scorpio. There is a sacred calendar etched into the fabric of your spirit, written long before your first breath, before the world ever whispered your name. And within that divine design, there are certain days marked not in ink, but in the glow of transformation, truth, and rebirth. These moments are not random, not wishful thinking. They are real. They are set, and they are waiting. You didn't come across this message by chance. You were called here, and the reason is simple. Some of those days, the ones meant only for you, are approaching. They're getting closer, and they carry the kind of energy that doesn't ask for permission. It enters your life like a key at shift, a gut feeling, a dream you can't forget. You don't have to chase it. You just have to be willing to see it when it arrives. These are not moments you need to prepare for. The truth is, your entire life has been the preparation. Every loss, every silence, every time you had to rebuild yourself from the ground up, it was never wasted. It's all been leading you here. And as we go deeper into this message, I'll show you how to recognize when one of those days is near. I'll walk with you into the space where fate and free will meet, where your soul remembers why it came here. Let's begin. You were never meant to live an ordinary life. That's not what you came here for. You weren't built for surface-level answers, polite smiles, or staying safe. You were made to go deeper, to walk into the dark when others turn away, to face the silence no one wants to hear, and somehow, in the middle of all that, to find something true, to bring light back with you, not the kind that blinds, but the kind that heals, the kind that comes from someone who's been through the fire and didn't let it destroy them. Scorpio, you know pain, not in theory, not from the outside. You felt it in your bones, carried it in your body, and learned how to breathe through it. You've watched things fall apart that were supposed to last. You've let go of people you loved because staying would have meant losing yourself. You've had to rebuild parts of you no one even knew were broken. And every time you thought that was the end, something in you said, "Not yet." Something rose. That's why the universe chose you. That's why certain days in your life were marked long before now. Not because you're flawless, but because you're willing, because you've walked through darkness and didn't lose your ability to feel, because even after everything, your heart still wants to believe that something good can come from all of this. Those days, the ones that are coming, are not about reward. They're about purpose. They are the moments where everything you've been through starts to make sense, where the weight you've carried becomes a gift you can offer to someone else who's still trying to find their way. Depending on when you were born, there are different energies being awakened in you now. These are not general patterns, they are specific forces, already stirring beneath the surface, aligning with where you are in your journey and what your soul came here to experience and become. If your birthday falls between the 24th of October and the 2nd of November, you're entering a time where your intuition will no longer whisper it, will speak clearly. Things that once confused you will begin to feel obvious. Truths that were hidden, either by others or by yourself, will surface, not to punish you, but to free you. You are someone who can see through masks, who feels what others try to hide. And now, that gift is being called forward. You're not just going to feel energy, you're going to be asked to guide others through it. People will begin coming to you, not even knowing why, but they'll feel safer around you, more real, more grounded, because you know how to walk through the shadows without losing yourself. That's your gift. You are the light in the dark, but not because you avoid the dark, because you've made peace with it. If you were born between the 3rd of November and the 12th of November, this season of your life is about deep transformation, not on the surface, but from the inside out. Things that used to define your roles, relationships, identities, coping patterns, they're starting to fall away. You might feel like parts of your life are shedding all at once, and it's tempting to hold on. But you're not being punished. You're being released. You are not who you were a year ago, or even a few months ago. The pain you've carried is no longer your home. You're being asked to step into a new skin, one that fits, one that's resilient, honest, unapologetic. This is the kind of growth that doesn't ask you to prove yourself to the world. It asks you to return to yourself, to honor what your soul has been whispering all along, even when your fear tried to silence it. And for those born between the 13th of November and the 22nd of November, you are stepping into a role that reaches far beyond your personal healing. You've lived enough to know that the journey was never just about you. You're becoming a mirror for others, a reminder that survival is possible, that honesty is powerful, that healing is contagious. Your presence alone becomes permission for others to be real. People will watch how you move through your life, and without you even trying, you will shift something in them. Not because you're performing, but because you're embodying something they haven't yet found words for. Your scars will speak. Your silence will teach. And your truth will ripple through the lives of those around you in ways you may never fully see, but they will feel it. And they will remember. Each group holds a different frequency, a different invitation. But the thread that connects them all is the same. You are being called into something greater, something deeper, something real. And it's not coming from the outside. It's rising from within you. There are signs, quiet but powerful, that begin to show themselves when your destined days are near. And if you've been paying attention, you've probably already felt them. It doesn't come as a sudden revelation, but more like a slow stirring, a pressure building under the surface of your life. You might not be able to name it, but you feel it. Something is waking up inside you. Something old. Something true. It's not anxiety. And it's not fear, it's recognition. It's the part of your soul that remembers what your mind forgot. It knows something important is coming, and it's trying to prepare you, not with answers, but with awareness. You may begin to notice your dreams changing. They become more vivid, more symbolic. You find yourself waking in the middle of the night with the feeling that what you saw meant something, even if you can't explain it. Animals, places, people long gone, all weaving together in a language that isn't spoken, but deeply felt. These are not random. They are messages from the deeper layers of your consciousness, from the place that still holds the map of where you're meant to go. Sometimes it's a dream that shakes you. Sometimes it's one that comforts you. Either way, it's a sign that the veil is thinning and your spirit is tuning in to what's coming next. Then there are the numbers. You glance at the clock and it's 11:11 again. You check a receipt and the total reads 22. Arsha art. These repetitions aren't coincidences, they're anchors. Reminders. It's the universe's way of saying, you're on the path. Keep going. You may not know exactly what you're walking toward, but you're not lost. You're being led. And these moments of alignment are breadcrumbs, guiding you back to trust, reminding you that you're not walking alone. Not now. Not ever. And then there are the people, sometimes, those you thought you had left behind, reappear, not always to stay, but to reflect. Old wounds may resurface, not to punish you, but to be released. Memories you buried might start showing up without warning, not to pull you backward, but to help you see how far you've come. This isn't regression, it's integration. You can't step fully into what's next without facing what still echoes inside you. And when those echoes return, when those old names and faces flash through your life, it's a sign that something deeper is being cleared to make space for what's ahead. All of these signs, internal shifts, dream symbols, repeating numbers, the resurfacing of the past, they're not distractions. They are confirmations, proof that your soul already knows what's coming, that the energy is building, that the days marked for you, the ones written in the quiet corners of the cosmos, are almost here, and your spirit, whether you realize it or not, is already rising to meet them. These days won't come when you feel completely ready. They don't wait for you to be confident or certain or fully healed. They arrive when it's time, whether you feel prepared or not. And maybe that's the point. They come to shape you, not to fit your expectations, but to awaken parts of you that have been waiting quietly beneath the surface. You don't have to prepare with action. The preparation has already been happening through the heartbreaks you survived, through the moments you questioned your worth, through the silence you learned to sit with when there were no answers. Every crack in your heart, every loss you thought would break you, every quiet decision to keep going when no one saw you, all of it was part of the path. And when those days arrive, you'll understand. You'll look back and see that nothing was wasted. You'll feel yourself step into those moments, not as someone unfinished, but as someone deeply shaped, someone who carries wisdom not from books, but from life itself. And in those moments, something will shift. You'll begin to speak in a way you didn't plan. The right words will just come. You'll say something simple, and someone else will feel seen for the first time in years. You'll show up just by being yourself, and it will be enough to soften a hard place in someone else's heart. You won't have to prove anything. You won't have to try so hard. Your presence will do the work your pain has already prepared for. That's what it means to carry light from the dark, not to avoid the shadows, but to come back from them carrying something only you could find there. Scorpio, you've never been here to live just for yourself. Not really. You've always known, somewhere deep inside, that your life wasn't just your own, that your story, especially the hard parts, would one day become someone else's lifeline, that your ability to survive, to grow, to speak truth even when it trembled, was never only for you, it was meant to awaken something in others. And that's exactly what these marked days will ask of you. They'll ask you to show up not as a perfect version of yourself, but as a real one who has learned to turn pain into perspective, one who knows how to sit with someone else's sorrow because you've made peace with your own. You are not just someone who made it through. You are someone who transforms, someone who alchemizes, someone who doesn't just rebuild, but rebuilds stronger, wiser, and more grounded than before. And the world needs that now more than ever. It doesn't need perfection. It needs truth. It needs people who know what it means to rise again. People like you. You were never here just to exist. You were born to guide, to awaken, to shine in a way that doesn't burn others, but shows them the way home. These coming days aren't just milestones. They are mirrors, showing you who you've become and why you had to become them. And from here on, everything begins to change. Not just for you, but through you. There are subtle shifts that begin to happen when your life is about to align with something greater. They don't arrive with loud announcements or dramatic signs. They come quietly, often when you least expect them, when you're brushing your teeth, when you're walking alone, when you're doing nothing out of the ordinary, and suddenly, for no clear reason, you feel lighter, more grounded. A quiet confidence rises in you not because of anything external, but because something within has started to awaken, that inner stillness, that calm strength that wasn't there yesterday, is your soul's way of letting you know. The time is near. You're not becoming someone new. You're returning to who you've always been, underneath the noise, the fear, the waiting. Then there are the opportunities, They begin to appear without your planning. Someone reaches out, a door opens, a connection forms out of nowhere. These aren't coincidences, they're invitations. The universe speaks in patterns and timing, not always in language. And when it begins to move around you like that, it's asking you to pay attention. It's not trying to test you, it's trying to guide you. And when those openings come, you'll feel it in your chest before you understand it in your mind. That pull, that sense of this matters, is the invitation you've been preparing for, whether you realized it or not. And just as things begin arriving, others begin falling away. Certain people, habits, or environments may suddenly feel heavy. Some relationships might fade without conflict. Others may break with force. It can feel confusing, but it's not punishment, it's release. The space you're entering requires more room, and the life ahead of you cannot be built on what was meant to stay in the past. So if someone walks away, or if something ends, try not to cling. Instead, see it as the path clearing. A sacred kind of pruning. You are being made ready, not by addition, but by subtraction. What leaves now does so to make space for what has been waiting to arrive. Scorpio, I know there have been seasons where you questioned everything, where it felt like no one was listening, not even the sky, where you gave more than you received and stayed longer than you should have, simply because you didn't want to give up on something your heart believed in. I know there were nights when you carried your own weight silently because no one else knew how to hold it. But even in those moments, you were never truly alone. There has always been something, call it grace, spirit, the divine that has been holding the pieces together behind the scenes, waiting for the moment when you would be ready to see what's always been waiting for you. Not a rescue, but a remembering. When those destined days arrive, you will feel it. You won't need a sign. Your heart will recognize it like a home you forgot you once lived in. Something in you will soften, and something else will rise. You won't have to force anything. The door will open, and the truth will be clear. Not because you planned it, but because it was always meant for you. And your soul, after everything, will know exactly what to do. So if there's one thing I want to leave you with, it's this. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to awaken, to challenge, to question, to transform. You weren't built to stay safe. You were built to become. And these days that are coming, they're not just turning points. They're moments of return. You're not preparing for them. You're remembering them. And when they come, you will not only rise, you will recognize yourself. Finally, clearly, fully, this is what you came for. And the time is near. So if your heart has been feeling heavier lately, or maybe lighter in strange ways, you can't explain, trust that something is shifting. Not outside of you, but within. The path isn't ahead of you anymore. It's underneath your feet. And the more you walk it with honesty, the more it will rise to meet you. Scorpio, you were never late. You were never behind. You were simply being shaped for something that required your whole self. And now, as the days marked for you begin to draw near, there's only one thing you're being asked to do. Keep showing up as you keep, not the polished version, not the perfect one, just the honest, real, resilient soul who has already walked through so much and still dares to feel. Let your softness be strength. Let your silence speak. Let your story rise from your chest without apology. These days ahead aren't about becoming someone else. They're about remembering who you've been all along. Thank you for being here, for listening, for feeling. And if this message stirred something in you, hold it close. Because sometimes all we need is one quiet reminder that we're exactly where we need to be. Take care of your heart. Trust the timing. And know this. When the moment comes, you'll know. You always have. And this time, you won't look away.